Hi, my name is Iman, and I'm currently trying to make an album with absolutely no experience, money, or skills. Most artists typically have monthly listeners, they have an online presence, and they have a whole team engineering their success before even starting to consider if making an album is commercially viable. I, on the other hand, have thrown out every tried and tested formula out the window and have decided that regardless of whether I fail or succeed, or if this experiment will cost me an arm and a leg, it all has to become relative. My art can't be contingent on outcomes, affordability, or external noise. There's only one thing I want to focus on in this experiment above everything, and that is to fucking create.
What's going on? You're in Melbourne, eh?
I am,
Melbourne?
yeah.
Cool. Anything exciting going down to Melbourne at the moment?
Not really, not that I know of. I just got uni, but other than that, yeah.
I was going to say, I'm asking the wrong person because you're probably too busy studying and doing all the other stuff.
In the music scene, I'm like not established at all, so I don't know anything about that. I'm just getting started, so. So if you can recall from episode 1, I always saw this chorus as being this massive explosive thing. And what Ben and I are talking about here essentially is how we can make that happen.
At all times you've got like the vocal split into, is it 2 or 3?
2.
3 parts.
I think
2.
it's, yeah.
And you've panned them left and right? Is that kind of...
I just did it twice, if that makes sense.
So I'm wondering if what would be best is if we ended up with 1 left, 1 right, and 1 in the middle. There's definitely some things I can do in the mixing which will make your voice sound more powerful if it's not just these kind of 2 tracks split off.
Yeah. Do I need to worry too much about left, center, right, or do I just need to do it 3 times?
Just do it 3 times. All you need to worry about is matching it.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So they should sound kind of phasey together because they're so tight, and then I can kind of bring them in and out. Or was there another reason why you liked the left and right thing?
I'm clueless, so I know when I heard it back from a listener's ear, especially like in the chorus, it needed to explode, and then it needed to draw back in, and I found it wasn't doing it. It sounded not flat, but it just wasn't traveling. But I don't know the technicalities of how that happens, but I just know it didn't sound right.
The other thing that I'm going to throw at you now, because this is while it's fresh, I think there's a tricky thing going on with the format of this song. If I'm working with you on a really even playing field, I don't pull any punches. I'll be like, hey, look, I believe there's a section of the song that should be removed to get the whole song to feel even better, so that we can like get more out of the final choruses and stuff like that.
So what Ben was talking about was this part in the song. So I find it funny that Ben picked that up. There's this part. I like this part in general. I think we add this on the second chorus when maybe I do ad-libs and I'm just singing my prime and then everything stops. Was always 17. Was always 17. My prime was always you. But I'll show you this other part of the song that we've had to cut out. I'm looking back now, we're laughing on the streetlights and no beginning rush. 2 kids stumbling in the dark. I met this boy last month, he swears he has me.
Your name stained on my lips while I'm in his backseat. You play your cards close, you act like tears never fell. I watch your hitting roll, we're crying as the tide takes us out. And don't pretend the end didn't want you. You write me off, but I was there, I had you.
Maybe you could use a bit of that lyric to have a pause again. Trading our hearts, pause. Chorus. Yep. And then, sort of just that bang into the melody there. I'm not sure if I'm repeating the melody right, but.
Yeah, you got it.
And then into that chorus now into the post.
Let's talk about the album. Now, over the last 4 months, I've started to, I guess, refine a little bit on what I want the album to be. This is kind of the overarching message of the album. It's on the precipice of imagination is madness, and on the precipice of madness is imagination. And for me, when I wrote these songs, I wrote them from a place of insane despair, that the only thing I could latch onto was imagination. I automatically started thinking about literary references. So I started thinking about Alice in Wonderland, how she fell through the rabbit hole, because I've always seen writing to me as something like that. It's a nice way to delve into something that's not here. It's imagination. And sometimes the best counsel that you have, or the most reliable counsel that you have, is your inner counsel. And so I automatically saw that, and I even saw that visually. I was like thinking, okay, I could have an album cover where, I don't know, I'm falling through a spiraling staircase, or falling into what seems to be a magical world. Another visual that I had was also like a Pandora's box. Like this, the Pandora's box almost has like a haunting kind of tone to it, but I've always wanted to like find clever ways to switch these phrases or these kind of sayings that we've heard our whole lives. In my song Old Broken Record, I talk about hitting rock bottom, and there's this saying that I like, something along the lines of, I didn't know that rock bottom had a basement. And that's always been like, oh, it can't get worse from here. But the way that I interpreted that phrase was, here's rock bottom, but what if there's a world underneath rock bottom? And what if that world is maybe objectively seen as worst case scenario, but what if it's the place in which you tap into yourself more? Jordan Peterson talks about this, but it's like, it's delving into the abyss, into the darkness, because at the epicenter of darkness there is truth. Now, regarding like inspiration sonically, I'm taking inspiration from Taylor Swift's 1989. I'm taking inspiration from Lord's Melodrama. I'm also taking inspiration from Bazi, specifically his Cosmic album. I wanted it to feel mystical, but at the same time haunting. I wanted it to feel expansive, but at the same time grounded and charged. So what I want it to feel like, it's got to have these kind of like timeless visuals. I took a lot of inspiration from Taylor Swift's 1989's Style music video, you can see here. Like, it's a lot of these type of shots. To give rise to this airiness, I wanted to add shots like this where there's this darkness that kind of sits there uncomfortably within the shots. And it's kind of like weird otherworldliness, like it's strange. It's things that shouldn't be there that are there. I'm really taking inspiration from that. Like, I love this. It's kind of like this integration of two different worlds, of like reality and imagination, because this album was steered by imagination. Like, I needed imagination in order to survive in this world. So it's kind of like that, and I like the purple. I've mentioned in episode 2 why purple is a thing for me. So when I initially visualized this album, I always saw galaxies, I always saw stars. Like, I didn't see it in that way. I didn't see it as futuristic. I just saw it as something that's tentative and delicate. That I always saw these type of shots here. These like weird, mystical type of shots. As well as that, I got obsessed with your 80s cinematic posters, specifically the Zathura one, because I grew up watching this as a kid, and I thought that was cool, and it makes you feel like it's this big grandiose thing. So I collected a lot of these guys too, because I think like they just look so cool. If this experiment gets big enough and I get to work with people, I'd like to roll this out in this way. I'd like to actually create not short films, but little mini stories within each song, because I think that'd be so awesome. And because like a lot of these songs tie in with each other, like 17 directly jumps off Hometown, which directly jumps off The Garden, and Hometown references Peter Pan. I wrote this in 2020, so it talks about Neverland, and The Garden is that Neverland in which I'm talking about. So I think that it would be cool to explore these songs in this way, in this kind of big cinematic way, because that's how it was when I wrote them. I'm currently editing at the moment, but I wanted to mention this. So now that 17 is undergoing a lot of production changes, and it's going to sound differently to what you have heard so far and what it originally was when I got this produced by one producer, I want to show you some of my favorite elements on Aria's version. I want to put this out there so that when the new version eventually comes out, people can compare and contrast and see what the idea was and what it turned into. So, of course, we've got guitar, because the guitar just sounds fucking awesome. So good, brother. Now this here, so there's that anxiety attack idea that I had. I'll add it somewhere here for reference. Okay, you got enough reference now. Anyhow, this is my producer's interpretation of it, so we're just going to listen to it isolated first, and then we'll add more elements to it. That's so fucking good. If we add that back over guitar, sounds cool now. We can add this, I think. So now we got some movement happening there. This is I've just recently learned that it's an arpeggio thing. So good. Behind the anxiety attack, this is my most favorite thing ever in this whole entire song. So fucking beautiful. You just feel like you're ascending into the fucking stratosphere. And if we hear it over the arpeggio thing, even better. So good. All right, now we'll turn more tracks on. We can hear that in context.
It's one in his backseat, so close, fell. No, didn't harm you. There I had you.
Now we're just gonna explore this scene a bit and the constituents of this scene. Can you hear how that thing is like seeping its way through as opposed to just like being there? I think that's cool.
Forever intertwined. I knew truth when it stared right
It's like it increases in volume.
back at me.
Okay. Sorry, I was getting too into that. Underneath it, because I told her when we originally did this that I needed this to like be in your ears and then just like fucking just go, like just be all around you all at once. It has to be like you needed to feel like, and there's like an explosion about to happen. And then I want to show you this. So she did something here. We'll add in everything else. This actually, like, I'm the whitest black person you'll ever meet, and this actually brings out the blackness in me, okay? It really does. I'm channeling my ancestors in this moment.
Forever alive, forever intertwined. I knew truth
Ready?
when it stared right back at me.
7, 8. We need to increase it, okay? We need to add more to the stakes.
Forever intertwined. I knew truth when it stared right back
5,
at
6,
me.
7, 8. Initially, when we heard 17, that beat or that drum felt like a heartbeat, and I thought I wanted that at first. But as the experiment progressed, I realized that I wanted 17 and this whole album in general, it needed to feel like a fucking Marvel movie. So if we hear this, like...
I've made them a bit more stompy, like, so that it's not as small. You know, it was, but like really like quite plucky. The kick drum is small on those bits. But every time that hits, so I've gone more for like a bigger.
That's cool.
And then, so each time that hits, it feels a bit more like a marching band,
Yeah.
that kind of feeling. So if I put that together with the other stuff. Here we go. Where's something? Pad.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
So that is
Yeah.
more of a lift now, because I want, even though you're not super loud singing
Yeah.
wise, I want the beat to sort of make it feel like
It feels more urgent.
Huh?
It feels more urgent.
Yeah, that's what we want. It's dramatic, more
Yeah.
dramatic.
Working with Ben, it's kind of shed light to the opportunity of me potentially going over to New Zealand to physically work with him. I do have limitations being here by myself, not having, I guess, the appropriate guidance from someone who's experienced, but also like I'm inexperienced, so that just makes the situation worse. If everyone is interested in that, if they want to see, you know, me going back to where I was born, really take this experiment to a level I never thought it would, beyond my room at least here, then I'd be happy to film it. And I think if you want to see the whole behind the scenes of the makings of some of these songs, then just let me know in the comments below. And I want to leave it up to you to decide if you want Old Broken Record to be revamped when I go to New Zealand, or if you want this new track to be revamped, and we'll revisit Old Broken Record at a later stage. But otherwise, I will see you in my next episode. Bye bye.
Stop the song, tear down the stars from the sky. Close the curtain, set all your houses on fire. Up in the floodgates fill my lungs with bullshit, and while the soulless souls line up, I'll give them reasons to break through the doors. Lead the saints away from the light. The preacher I gasped when I say I loved him and never realized he was my compass, my anchor, my sun and my skies. What's a God to do when he was always supposed to be mine? Now I spin my head in before all his ghosts and his demons convinced him his towers won't save him. But what's the point in love if it don't shatter your senses? Fuck the world and its rules, you and
Oh, thank you.